is Bethany Wray, and I am a teaching artist with Meadow Arts, an art organization located in Twisp, Washington. And today I'm going to show you how to make these Memorial Day poppy wreaths. And for this, what you'll need is some coffee filters, paper plates, a cup of water, a hole puncher, watercolors, a brush, some scissors, yarn, and tape. So once you get all these things in front of you, or rather go ahead and take your time, get all these things in front of you, and once you have all these materials in front of you, then feel free to press play and we'll get started. So why poppies for Memorial Day? Well, it actually goes back to a poem by John McCrae called In Flanders Field. And so you might want to read that poem actually before starting this art project. And also another teaching artist at Meadow Arts, Bruce Morrison, also has a poppy themed art lesson that he did for Veterans Day that you can also watch if you want to get to know the history behind the poppy just a little bit more. But knowing that, we're going to go ahead and just jump in and we're going to get started with painting our poppies. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to watercolor our coffee filters to use as our poppies. So you're just going to work with one coffee filter at a time. And this is kind of where you can play around. You can either do something that looks more traditionally like a poppy flower, which I used red and orange together for this wreath. If you want to do something that's a little more patriotic and you want to do red and blue, that's fine. Something you can really play around with. But going back into the history just a little bit, Memorial Day actually used to be called Decoration Day. And so as we're making these wreaths, the reason why we're making it is as a decoration to honor those who lost their lives during the wars. So that's just a little side note. So we're going to go ahead and start off by, first of all, taking your coffee filter, and you're going to have it like this first, so just like a circle, and then you're going to fold it in half once, and then in half again. So you're going to fold it, let's do it one more time, you're going to fold it 1 and 2 times, so twice. And then from here, I'm going to get my paintbrush, and I'm going to put some water on my paintbrush, and I'm going to go ahead and just do what I did for these poppies. I'm going to get my paintbrush wet, and then I'm going to what's called charging my brush. I'm picking up the pigment with my brush. I'm going to charge my brush and pick up that red pigment, and then I'm going to cover one side of my coffee filter. The other thing is I put some wax paper down. You can do this with foil. It's just because the watercolor will seep through the coffee filter. And so if you don't want to make a mess on the table surface that you're working on, it might be a good idea to lay something down. You will also need to lay something down just so you can put the coffee filters, once you've painted them, off to the side on something to dry. If you have a messy art table and you don't mind making a mess, awesome. Otherwise, make sure to cover the surface that you're working on. And what's really fun about the coffee filters is that the color kind of moves around, blends together. So I like to do a little bit of red, and then I use a little bit of orange, a little bit of red, and I kind of go back and forth with those. Okay, and then all the way to the end here. Okay, so there's that. Now I'm going to turn it over, because as you notice, it's starting to seep through a little bit, but not all the way, not as much as I want it to. We want it to be nice and covered. So I'm going to actually I flip the coffee filter over onto the other side, and we're just gonna paint the other side as well. Okay, I'm kind of having to go back and forth between more water on my brush and more paint. More water on my brush, more paint. And I'm going back and forth between the red and the orange too. Okay, there we go. So now it's all filled. What you'll need to do next is carefully unfold your coffee filter, and you'll want to lay it out flat like this, like I have on the wax piece of paper. So that's why it's a good idea to maybe lay down a long strip of wax paper, and then come back to these once they look like this, once they're all dry. This is an example of what it looks like once it's dry. But while you're waiting for these to dry, I can show you the next step, which is putting a hole punching a paper plate where the poppies will go. So I'm going to go ahead and transition to that, but feel free to pause the video at this point if you just want to focus on working on your poppies. I found that I needed 8 to fill a standard size paper plate. So go ahead and paint at least 8 coffee filters. Again, whatever color you want. It can be more traditional color, or you can do red and blue if you want something a little more American themed. Okay. All right, so I'm going to show you how to hole punch the paper plate as well as cutting out the center. What's nice about this paper plate is it already has kind of this indent where this circle is. So really all I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my paper plate in half, and I'm going to just cut a little slit into it and then open it back up. And then I'm going to take my scissors, be careful about this, about where your other hand is. But I'm going to put the bottom of the scissors into that little insert, or into that little slot I created. And then I'm going to carefully cut around. So cut and turn. It's a little tricky, but I'm just going to follow basically that line that's already there all the way around. Okay. And then go all the way to the end here, and there we go. Go ahead and recycle this part. And now I'm going to do some of the holes. I'm going to hole punch, and about midway. So trying to think about it so it's somewhat evenly spaced. So we're going to do 8. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ooh, we got a little close here. That's okay. 8. All right. So not as evenly spaced as I would like. Like this one, I wish it was a little further, but that's okay. No worries. And then I'm not going to add in a hole for the string just yet. I'm just going to wait on that. So I have a couple of these that are already dry, so I'm just going to show you how to insert the coffee filters to make them look like poppies and how to place them in the holes. So first of all, you're going to fold your coffee filter in half again, and then one more time. So just like before, we're going to fold it twice, and then we're going to take the end of the coffee filter, pinch it just a little bit, okay, and kind of give it a little bit of a twist. And then I like to kind of open it up just a little bit more. There we go. And then I'm going to take the end of the coffee filter here, and I'm just going to push it through the hole, okay, just like that. And even now I'm opening up the coffee filter just a little bit more with my fingers. So I'm going to take a piece of tape. It can be really any tape that you have. I just happen to have this blue tape. And I'm going to tape it down to the back, okay? So you're just going to go all the way around until you filled up the whole wreath. And then at the very end, you can add in a hole. Let's say that I want to do it right here. Let's see here. Actually, there's more space. So I'm going to add in another little hole up here and cut a piece of string and just tie it on the top, and then you'll have a nice little wreath. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed making your own poppy wreath for Memorial Day with me, and I hope that we'll find some more time to create together next time around. Bye for now.